What's going on, my beautiful people? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. It's been a long, long time since I've done a live session. But in today's video, we're going to talk about why I feel and think, because what you feel and what you think aren't always aligned. You should not reach out to your avoidant ex during the holiday season, especially wishing them Merry Christmas, because reaching out to an avoidant, especially during the holidays, can be tricky. They often value their independence and may feel I got something written out here for you. They often value their independence and may feel overwhelmed by the emotional gestures. So if you're considering sending a Merry Christmas text, think about your intention and their potential response. Because usually when I see someone send something and they say that it's out of the kindness of their own heart and they just care about the person, there's this hidden agenda there that proves that what they're saying isn't necessarily aligning with what they're saying and what they're feeling and what they're actually thinking. So if you're thinking about reaching out to your avoidant ex this holiday season, and your goal is to just wish them Merry Christmas without any expectations at all, and it's a neutral, light message wishing you like something like wishing you a wonderful holiday season, it may feel less intrusive than if you reach out trying to have this deep, immersive type of conversation. Let me know if you guys can hear me. Go to my comment section here. It's been a while, so I want to make sure that I'm not coming off weird. Which, so yeah, that's part of the reason why I stopped doing live sessions because the technology behind it was a little bit difficult. And if you're coming in, let me know where you guys are from. If you're in a situation where you're broken up with an avoidant and you're actually thinking about sending that text message, and I've had a couple clients do it this year already, even before Christmas gets here. And I want to make sure that you're not setting yourself up for failure and you're not coming off as someone who is ignoring reality. Like Aaron Rand said, you can ignore reality, but you can't ignore the consequences of ignoring reality. And the consequences are you're going to be disappointed. So let me know where you guys are coming in from. If you guys have been watching me for a while, I'd like to know that. I put this content out here for free. I actually had someone on the channel maybe like 2 weeks ago get upset and was like, "This guy's a snake oil salesman. He's this and that." And I'm like, "I'm not selling you anything. If anything, when I first started this channel, it was to build a community for myself because there wasn't any community that I've seen out there that talked about avoidant attachment styles, rebound relationships to this degree. That puts the psychological and the social. I'm a sociologist by nature. Put that social aspect behind it as far as that community. But Merry Christmas to you guys. I appreciate. Wow, someone sent me a message here. Moolah. Interesting. Currently being ghosted by a woman with BPD. She's ghosted me for 3 weeks. Same rules apply. No Merry Christmas text. No Merry Christmas text. So this is a hard one here. Actually, if you're in this dynamic, it's a hard one for you, but I've been doing this for so long. If they struggle with BPD, that that pretty much supersedes any and every other thing as far as cluster C personality types. If they have cluster C personality, if they struggle with any type of attachment style issues, the BPD it kind of breaks it, especially if they're not doing anything to maybe they're taking something to help regulate their moods, if they're self-aware about the triggers that they may have, if they're in therapy to help them get through those triggers that may arise and just to help them center themselves, reground themselves if they start to go off on one of their episodes, one of their manic episodes or their depressive episodes. Or so that's borderline, BP got bipolar, borderline, um, two different things, but the symptoms that they have can really show up the same way or the characteristics. Been broken up with almost. Thank you. I appreciate you, Orange Grove. Been broken up with almost a year ago. Just now starting to get over it. 7 years together. My golden rule for recovering from breakups for me, from what I learned, from what I've studied, and also from what I've also experienced. If you guys can hear me, give me a thumbs up. Aloha from Hawaii, Seattle. Wow. Good to see you guys. It takes about 3 months, 2 to 3 months for every year that you were in that serious relationship. So if you were together for 7 years, I mean, it can take 2 years easily to get over that breakup and to start operating very differently in your life, or just to understand what the new normal is for you. Like anytime something happens in your life that changes, anytime something is this kind of comes out of the blue and dysregulates you. I don't care what it is, losing a job, your car breaking down, someone breaking up with you, any of this change in your normal routine will dysregulate you. And it will take a while for you to, sometimes people are in high stress jobs and they're used to like working on the fly and being able to shift gears as fast as possible, then yeah, they may be able to get over it quicker. But if you're in a relationship and let's say you get divorced and you were with someone for a long time, and you had houses together, you did parenting together, all those different things. Relearning what's normal and what's new may take a while. Chile and Massachusetts. I'm in Wisconsin. We got about, I don't know, I think we got about 6 to 12, 6 to 10 on the ground outside. Hence the reason I'm here wearing this hat. But I just like wearing hats. Hello from Massachusetts. If you guys have any questions, shoot them to me. I'm here for you. Merry Christmas. It's good to see everybody. It's been over. I did this I think I did it a year or two ago, but I've only done one live sessions this year because of the technology, like I said before. So I want to make sure that I get this out here, so I'm staying true to what my original purpose was on this live session. So for dismissive avoidance, actions often speak louder than words. So giving them space while maintaining your own boundaries might be more effective in the long run. So how do you feel about reaching out? Ask yourself these questions. And what outcome are you hoping for? If you guys are in this scenario, I want you to be true to me. I want you to be true to yourself because we often lie more to ourselves than we do the people. It's interesting though how, and I talk about this all the time, how we're more gracious and forgiving to other people than we are to ourselves. Like we're our own toughest critics. We treat ourselves. If you're not all right, so I'm not talking about everyone here. If you're not secure, we often put others' needs. We often treat them better than we actually treat ourselves. Thumbs up in the chat if you feel like that's accurate. And it's one of the things that I try to help clients with is focusing on that self love piece, focusing on that, uh, bringing some of that love that we give the people that we want to be with in for ourselves, like reserving a little bit of that for ourselves. If one thing you can learn from avoidance is they do give themselves self love. Like that's actually something that they start with, but at the same time, it can come off as quite selfish and as quite self centered than self love. All right, so back to the questions. In no contact, 2 months now, he's a fearful avoidant. Totally did the slow fade, detached emotionally and pain. Why do you think he's a fearful avoidant? Because there's a certain path that a lot of fearful avoidance, I would say easily 90% of the fearful avoidance I've come across has walked, is usually complex, lots of different traumas in their life, or they have been in a relationship where they were kind of scarred, damaged. They call it damaged or broken. I don't know if I call it that way because I think everything that happens to you for a reason. It happens for you, not to you. But I can sit here healed and far removed from insecure attachment issues and say that. But when I was in it, I didn't want to hear it. I'm like, okay, no, this is actually happening to me. This is very personal. But now I'm on the other side. I see things way differently. And I can ask myself too, because people wonder how I healed. And I don't know. Honestly, I think it was a lot of different things that I applied to my life, from spirituality, going down a rabbit hole on my own attachment wounds. And I don't know if I could have healed to this level of healing if I didn't form this community and if I wasn't helping individuals get through their own attachment issues. I don't think it would have been as possible to be this secure right now because I see a lot of different scenarios and a lot of different degrees of attachment wounds and degrees of people having heartbreak, having dealing with heartbreak. So it really puts things into perspective for me as to what I'm going through. Kansas City, appreciate you. You know I'm from St. Louis. That's the best city in Missouri, right? I question my judgment of people because of this. And that's part of the process is sharpening your discernment for the people that you bring into your life. And I was talking to one of my friends about this, about just how difficult it is to make new friends and to meet new people as you get older. When you were younger, you had, sports teams, you had college, you had this community that was already built for you. And this is one of the things that Oprah Winfrey talked about in the book, What Happened to You. She said that anytime she moved to a new community, she would always think about what her dad would say, which is find yourself a church home, find yourself a community that's going to help you through these tough times. So when you going back to your statement, my judging in people because of this, when you are involved or you engaged in communities, that's kind of how we end up sharpening that discernment and understanding who's here for the right intentions. And when you were younger, you were around so many different people that you were able to form these really you could sharpen that a lot easier. But when you get older and you're busy with doing life, you're working, maybe you're good at that in your job where you can really discern between who's there for the right reasons, who's not. But it depends on your upbringing. So a lot of people go into situations where they have a lot of trust. And I could tell you, I'm listening to a book right now called The Anxious Generation. And that's one thing that they talked about in the book is our in-person interactions have become frayed, and it's very difficult for us to build these genuine connections with people. So if you're online and you're meeting people on, for example, dating apps, and they come across as very secure, if not anxious, or someone that's very certain about what they want in their life, in their relationship future, and then you get around them and I mean, I've seen this so many times. They get around them and they're like, the chemistry just wasn't there. They were a little bit awkward. They seemed shy. They didn't make any eye contact really. And I'm like, well, that's kind of where we are at now, post online dating, post the 19s. You all know what happened in the 19s. Um, and I don't know how can we heal that? How can we sharpen that discernment? Like my Instagram account, I have a really cool community there. And I see that as like my labor of love too, where I'm just constantly putting out these nuggets of uh, what people should be looking for as far as even your friends, anyone that you bring into your life, into your orbit, you should be looking for specific things, which is, are they aligned with my values? If it's a relationship, what are they looking for out of this relationship? And if you're now that I've put in so much content out there about avoidant attachment style, does this person look more like an avoidant? And is this the type of dynamic that I want to stick around in and read the same book? Because I try to stay optimistic about it. Because if you do come across an avoidant that's doing the work and they identify that they're avoidant and they identify that they are tired of operating in relationships like this, they're tired of navigating this way, then those are the avoidants that can and should be given the best chance. Because the damage that they did to other people doesn't mean that they're going to be doing it to you. But if they are really struggling to stay consistent and you see that pullback after you have those emotionally vulnerable times together, then you need to really be questioning if this is it for you. And I say it. I don't know how many times how many videos you guys have watched of mine, but I say that as a disclaimer always in the beginning. If you These videos aren't meant to give you any type of false hope, right? And they're not here to convince you to stay in a dynamic where you feel like your emotional needs are being neglected, you're being abused in any way, shape, or form, or you're being manipulated. And the one thing that really kind of breaks that discernment for you, going back to who was that? Question my judgment, Marguerite. Going back to that, the one type of individual who breaks that is someone who has some type of cluster B personality. Going back to the BPD, the borderline, the narcissism, they can really throw a monkey wrench in your whole engagement system or your whole, what do you want to call it, uh, barometer for genuine people. Sorry. Um, I kind of got to that point where I don't want her back anymore after taking a lot of breadcrumbs. But sadly, there is still a connection to her, and I can't cut off. Well, unfortunately, you may go the rest of your life still feeling this type of attachment to her. And I'm not gonna, because I don't like sugarcoating. Like I'm just be straight up. You can get married, you can do, have the kids, do whatever in life going forward, but you still may have this connection to that person. I think Usher made a song about this back in the day. I can't remember what it was, but he talks about this. He kind of explains this in this song too, which I listened to a lot of love songs when I was younger, and I wonder if I was like conditioning myself to become an anxious attacher because I was a hopeless romantic growing up, and listening to this stuff definitely did something to me. All right, that's all I've got for you guys. I ain't want to get on here and talk your ear off. That was one thing that I let me know. You guys let me know, what is your New Year's resolution? My resolution, and it's something I started to apply this year during my coaching sessions, is to start listening way more than I talk because I'm so used to doing the videos. Um, I noticed that when I start to really listen and hone in on what's going on in these coaching sessions and what's going on in their life and their relationship dynamics, I got more accurate on how to discern what's going on with the person that they're either broken up with or the person that they're trying to like navigate a relationship with. So thank you guys again. Heal myself and take better care of me. That's a great resolution. So you gotta align that. I think it was Napoleon Hill that said, whatever the mind can conceive and believe you can achieve. So for these New Year's resolutions, you see a lot of people conceiving a lot of different things. They're like, oh, I want to quit smoking, or I want to do this, I want to do that. Like, okay, that's great, but do you believe it? Because if you don't have that belief part behind it, like I can say, hey, I want to go out and I want to go start $1 million construction company. If I don't believe behind that, I'll never achieve it. Like if I don't believe that I can get whatever investors in place, or I can get the storefront to make this happen, or either start an online deal to make this happen, that belief part is not there, so it'll never happen. Discern, listen, heal. Aloha. Thank you guys, and always remember, when you go be loved, you'll never have to find it. Namaste. Merry Christmas, guys.